Welcome to the Business of Craft podcast presented by Stitchcraft Marketing. For nearly 16 years, we've taught retailers, manufacturers, and makers in the craft space how to thrive. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you like what you hear, leave a review to help others find our content.
Welcome to Season 8, Episode 2 of Business of Craft. Hey friends, this is Leanne Presley. I'm the founder and CEO of Stitchcraft Marketing, and I'm back with another episode of Business of Craft for you today. In today's episode, I'm going to open up the next chapter in our marketing spell book of our book that we just finished writing, which is Marketing Magic for Savvy Craft Businesses that I've told you about at the beginning episode of this season of Business of Craft. And we're going to talk today about a little concept we call just your brand magic and exploring a little bit more about the know, like, and trust funnel, or as in the book, we refer to it as the know, like, and trust loop. Because we've added a few more elements to what our former funnel was. So if you've listened to any of our podcasts, or you happen to be a Stitchcraft Marketing regular, maybe you've read our blogs, you've seen our newsletters, or you've heard me speak at maybe H&H Americas or Bernina University, you know that almost every one of my slide decks and a lot of our content materials talks about the know, like, and trust funnel. It's really a fundamental marketing concept that I preach about all the time. So it's super, super important that you really nail down this concept and you understand it to the point where it's just a regular part of your marketing strategy for your craft business. So I'm going to start with telling you something you might not want to hear, which is your brand and your business and your products are not as unique as you might think. And I know I hear feedback from clients all the time where they're really struggling with this. So I know a lot of you do realize this, and it's especially more difficult if you're the kind of business that has a competitor. Maybe you're a shop that has another quilt shop or another yarn shop or a combo shop that's 30, 45, 60 minutes away from yours. Or you're in a bigger business space. Maybe you're a distributor or manufacturer of yarn and you've got a lot of competition as well. So how do you figure out how to differentiate yourself so that you're not struggling with that as you grow your business? So, I think about this in terms of crafts in general. So I just mentioned we've got yarn shops, we've got quilt shops, you've got handmade jewelry sellers. You've got some retailer claiming to be, that one and only place in town that has the best classes and the top of the line machines or wheels or whatever it is that you're offering. And your business really can start to just blur into a sea of sameness. And then layer on top of that, the internet. And you're competing with not just the shop down the block, but you're competing against everyone that has the best tools at their disposal. They've got a Shopify site or they're all on Etsy. You're just side by side with someone else that is selling exactly the same thing that you are. So how do you rise above all the noise? How do you find your magic that actually sticks with your customers and helps you get to that place we all want to be, which is in the trust part of our know, like, and trust funnel, where what I like to say is the flywheel starts to turn, right? You get to that tipping point where you don't have to work as hard to bring your customers in. So let's talk about how you do that. It's not about your price. It's not about your product. It's going to be about your customer experience, right? Let that sink in. It's going to be about your customer experience. And right now we're in 2025. And I think, marketing for the last couple of years has really been about how do you make people feel when they engage with your brand? How are you helping them to solve their problems? How are you helping them inspire their creativity? How are you helping give them a sense of belonging, right? It's not about the cheapest fat quarter or the skein that has the most yardage. It's about how does your customer feel? What kind of an experience are they having when they're engaging with your brand? So this is where the know, like, and trust loop becomes critical to understand. And if you've ever built a great relationship, you already know the basics. Of course, first we start with people getting to know you. Then they start to like you. And then eventually they come into the place where they really trust you. And I like to say the trust part of our know, like, trust funnel is where conversions happen. And so you really need to put a lot of work into the know and the like so that our journey is easier in the trust. And in our digital first world, that linear journey has now transformed into something more circular, more of a dynamic, more of a loop. And now we have several more components. So it's not just know, like, and trust, but then we also have try, buy, repeat, and refer. I'll say that again. Know, like, trust, try, buy, repeat, refer. So let me give you a kind of a high-level view of the beginning phase of that concept. So, of course, in the know part of our phase of our funnel, your brand is going to be popping up on someone's radar. Maybe you're a booth at a fiber festival. It's the first time they've seen you. Maybe it's a post that came across their Instagram that went semi-viral, or maybe it's a tag that is a brand that you also carry. This is where the customer is just starting to learn about who you are. And if you can manage to come in with not a hard sell, but with some clarity, some personality, and we like to call, a little bit of magic in your messaging, you'll get that customer to move into the like phase, right? Somebody who's been exposed to your brand maybe once or twice, and now they're intrigued, right? They see something from you, whether it's your website, your social presence, maybe it's a particular product that they see, an email. It starts to plant the seed of rapport. And with some consistency, some accessibility, some authenticity, they think in their minds, I think I want to learn more about this company, or I want to check it out more. I want to dig a little bit deeper. They get a vibe, from your brand or your business. And then hopefully this does take some time. We can move them into the trust part of our phase. So this is not something that you're going to earn overnight. And it's a lot harder to achieve the younger your business is. So if you, in your business evolution, you are a very new business, you just need to be patient and you need to know that the trust, it can take some time. It can take upwards of several years for you to develop trust with a certain brand. You need to prove to your customer that you're consistent, that you have good customer service, that you can talk the talk and walk the walk, that you're not fly by night, that you're real, that you're authentic, and that your content and your offering will consistently reflect what they need. You are going to be the person that solves their problems. You are going to be the person that consistently inspires them, right? So just be patient with that. And then, like I said, the loop does not stop there. Once someone trusts you, then we've got the second part of our loop. They're going to try you. We want them to buy from you. And then if you deliver on your brand promises, they're going to come back and repeat. And then the golden egg is they refer you to others. So try, buy, repeat, and refer. We go through the full loop in depth in our book, Marketing Magic for Savvy Craft Businesses. There's even an awesome graphic that we put together for you in there. You can copy that from the book and pin it up above your desk to give you a nice visual reference. So when you're working on your marketing strategy, you can keep these phases at the ready. And we say, we go through this in the book in depth, how to go about nurturing your customer journey experience at each phase of the funnel or the loop. But really quickly here, I want to just give you another real world example. So we had a client, a small indie yarn dyer who was struggling to compete with some of the bigger names on Instagram. Of course, her yarns were beautiful, but her sales were stagnant. Especially in the indie dyer space, they're a dime a dozen. I mean, even at the agency, we refer to them, some of the beginner ones, kitchen dyers. They all kind of start off with their own small setup. And a lot of people really want that. They want the unique, one-of-a-kind kitchen dyer type of yarn product. And when she started working with us, we focused on the no phase first. And we were in this phase for a really long time because she was a brand new business. So we helped her do things like optimize your social media bio, make sure that her About Us page is really clear and concise on your website. We made sure that we started to bring people into her brand story with behind the scenes dyeing videos. How was she inspired with her colorways? How did she choose her colorways? And her customers really needed to start learning about what she stood for as a brand. And then we layered in bits and pieces of the like phase. So we helped her launch a newsletter series that was not very salesy at all. I think that's a real big mistake that clients make when they're doing a newsletter is it's, discounts and pushy offerings and promos and buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And as a consumer, you don't like that kind of messaging. You delete those newsletters when they come in your inbox. I'm fairly certain I do. And so you have to start by, slowly bringing them in again to your brand story. Talk about, send out like little love letters about color and creativity and the messiness of her creative process. And once we started helping her switch that newsletter around, her audience started responding. They were replying to her. They were sharing her content. They were tagging her. They were starting to relate to her in a way that develops what I refer to as an affinity marker, some sort of an affinity to your story or your brand, something that she can connect with that then brings her deeper into that customer journey experience. And I talk a lot more about affinity markers in the book if you want to learn more about those. And then by the time we reached the trust phase with her, she had a waiting list for some of her launches. Now, again, she worked with us for several years, and so I'm sort of condensing the life, the evolution of the experience she had with our agency. But after a few years, we were able to move more into that trust part of the funnel, where she did have a waiting list for her launches, and we added in an element of scarcity marketing there for her as well, because by that time, her audience wasn't just buying the yarn, they were buying her. They were buying the experience of buying yarn from her. And they trusted her and they wanted to support her journey. They wanted to be part of something that was much bigger than just a means to an end, right? Which in this case is, I need to buy yarn to make a project, right? They wanted to be part of something bigger than that.
Have you ever wondered where you might be missing the mark with your craft marketing? Our strategic analysis is an in-depth look at everything related to your business, including your website, your social channels, your newsletter, blog, your advertising, and your competitors. After our research, we deliver a 90-minute presentation and about 70 slides to help you get to the next level with your business. If you're interested in this service, reach out at stitchcraftmarketing.com.
So that's the first part of the loop in action. Remember, I said there are 4 more steps to really mastering the whole loop from start to finish and then back again. So I'm not going to go into the last 4 steps as in depth here on the podcast, but just know that to really master this, you've got to come back around with the last 4 steps so that you've got the full experience. You've got know, like, trust, try, buy, repeat, and refer. And there's a lot of actions that you can do as a marketer to be nurturing and reinvesting in each part of the loop. So I've got a couple questions for you that you can reflect on after the podcast here. So where are you? This is the first one. Where are you in the loop where you're the strongest right now? Is it the know, the like, the trust, try, buy, repeat, or refer? Where do you think you're strongest in your business? And conversely, where do you feel like you're the weakest? When was the last time a customer referred you? And do you really understand what was at play there? What prompted that referral? Was it the customer service? Was it that you inspired them? Was it that they felt seen, that they have a sense of belonging? Was it that you solved a problem? It's really important for you to understand what's generating those referrals back to you and where are they coming from? Because that's a really important part of this. And then what's one thing that you can do this week to strengthen one phase of the loop in your business? Remember that even small tweaks can be super powerful. One brand in particular that I worked with simply added a thank you video to post-purchase emails. It was just a quick 30 seconds, recorded on a phone, and they came back to us and said, oh my gosh, that was a fantastic idea. Our repeat customer rate has doubled within a month. And they were doing a lot of different things. And so this might have just been, again, one small tweak. We're always talking about how to be that 1% better. And after a series of 1% gains, that's where you're going to start to see real growth and change in your craft business. So as you're implementing the loop, I also want to leave you with just a gentle reminder. I know we're all super hard on ourselves. So here I am giving you permission to be gentle on yourself. You don't need to do this all at once. Right? Start with something that's authentic to you and sustainable for your bandwidth, right? A lot of the clients we work with come to the agency because they are completely overwhelmed. They're doing way too much. They are frazzled. They're overwhelmed. And yes, on working with an agency like ours, we can help you kind of sort some of that stuff out. So if you're at that place, please call on us. We're happy to help you with that feeling of overwhelm. But if you're not, just dip your toe in slowly and start with just those small little bite-sized pieces. Your magic does not have to be flashy. It just has to be real. It has to be authentic. It has to represent your brand story and your differentiator, and try to sort of distill how you get to that place. So again, in our book, Marketing Magic for Savvy Craft Businesses, we go through the loop in a much more extensive fashion. What I've given you today is just a little taste of the concept. And in our book, you're going to find lots of lists and charts and checklists, check sheets that outline exactly what actions you need to take for each phase of the loop. And then from this, you can create your strategy to make sure that you're hitting each one of the sections in all of the marketing activities that you're doing. And it will also help you match up. We have a little chart that helps you match. Like I said earlier, are you weakest in the like part, for example? And if you are, here are the things that you need to be doing to strengthen that part of your loop. So it's really helpful that way. So before we wrap up today's episode, here's a quick little challenge for you until the next time we meet. Your little action guidelines from the episode. So I want you to choose one of your existing customers and envision what it's like to walk through their experience with your brand using the know, like, and trust loop. For example, where did they find you? What content moved them forward, moved them deeper into your brand experience? What could you have done to make it even better? And just start there. Use that insight to tweak just one step of your customer journey's experience. All right, friends, that is all I have for you today about the know, like, trust loop. I hope it was helpful and valuable to you. Again, if you are interested in learning more about that, you can go deeper into this exercise with our book, Marketing Magic for Savvy Craft Businesses. Supercharge your social media, market to makers, and build better customer relationships. You can find it on our website, stitchcraftmarketing.com/magic. That'll take you right to the landing page where you can order the book either in Kindle or print edition. We will ship it directly to you from Stitchcraft, or if you prefer the Kindle, you can download it right from Amazon. And then we are also working on an audio version of the book, and that'll be available sometime early summer 2025. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Business of Craft. Happy crafting. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Business of Craft. Hey, before you go, don't forget about all of our free resources, including our monthly magic newsletter, our twice monthly blogs, our free live monthly office hours where you can jump on, learn a topic, and get a little bit of free consulting, our executive summary of the 2023 research for craft retailers that you can download directly from our website. And we have a lot of tutorial videos as well as recordings of all of our past office hours on our YouTube channel. So find all those resources at our website, stitchcraftmarketing.com. And on our website, you can also purchase a copy of our book, Marketing Magic for Savvy Craft Businesses in Kindle, paperback, or audio format. See you next time.